In the lush forests bordering Mount Olympus, Lyra, a water nymph with hair like flowing silver and eyes that shifted between blue and green, discovered something strange. While bathing in a sacred pool near the base of the mountain, she heard voices, ancient, powerful whispers that seemed to emanate from deep within the earth. At first, she believed it was simply the wind through the trees or perhaps minor gods playing tricks. But night after night, the voices grew clearer, calling to her by name. Lyra, daughter of the waters, hear us. One evening, as moonlight danced across the surface of her pool, the water began to bubble and glow with an eerie crimson light. When she placed her hands upon the water's surface, visions flooded her mind, massive beings of immense power, chained in darkness, their forms twisted and broken yet still radiating primal energy. The Titans. Zeus had imprisoned them deep beneath the mountain after their defeat, but something had changed. The recent battles had weakened the barriers between worlds, and Lyra found herself able to hear their thoughts and feel their rage. We have waited eons for one who could hear us. The voices merged into a single, thunderous presence. The gods have grown weak. The time approaches. Terrified yet fascinated, Lyra fled to her sisters, but none believed her claims. One by one, they distanced themselves, whispering that she had been touched by madness. Alone and increasingly obsessed with the voices, Lyra began to secretly visit ancient ruins where the Titans had once been worshipped. In one such temple, half collapsed and forgotten, she discovered a series of murals that depicted not the monstrous beings she had been taught about, but benevolent creators who had been betrayed by their children, the gods. The victors write history, came a voice from behind her. Lyra turned to find an elderly woman, her eyes milky with blindness, yet somehow seeing through Lyra completely. You hear them, don't you? The forgotten ones, the old woman said, approaching Lyra with surprising certainty for one who could not see. I was once like you, but I learned to block their whispers before they consumed me. Who are you? Lyra asked. I am Themis, once handmaiden to Rhea herself. The Titans are not what the gods would have you believe, nor are they the saviors they claim to be in your mind. They are power incarnate, neither good nor evilent. They will use anyone who listens. As weeks passed, Lyra found herself torn between the compelling whispers of the Titans and Themis's warnings. The voices promised her power, knowledge, and revenge against the nymphs who had abandoned her. They showed her visions of a world renewed under their guidance, a world where beings like her would no longer serve at the pleasure of capricious gods. But something troubled her. In her communion with the imprisoned Titans, she began to sense another presence lurking behind their collective voice, something older and far more malevolent. One night, following a map that had appeared in her dreams, Lyra discovered a hidden fissure in the mountainside, a narrow passage that led deep into the earth. The air grew hot and sulphurous as she descended, until she reached a vast underground chamber illuminated by pools of magma. There, suspended in webs of divine energy, she saw them, the Titans, massive and terrible, their forms both beautiful and horrifying. But it was what she saw moving among them that froze her blood-shadowy figures that were neither Titan nor god, manipulating the divine bonds, whispering into the ears of the imprisoned giants. What are they? She whispered. They are the reason we call to you, came the reply, but this time from a single Titana female form whose features reminded Lyra of the earth itself. I am Thea, Titan of sight and light. What you see are the Kyries, spirits of death and deceit. They do not wish for our freedom, they wish to feed on the chaos that would follow. Lyra realized the terrible truth. The Kyries had been weakening the Titans' bonds not to free them, but to create enough instability to feed on the resulting divine energy. If the Titans broke free in their current state, half maddened by imprisonment and influenced by these death spirits, the destruction would be unimaginable. Now Lyra faced an impossible choice. Warn the very gods who had marginalized her kind for centuries, or allow events to unfold, potentially unleashing devastation beyond measure. As she stood paralyzed by indecision, the chamber began to shake. Cracks appeared in the magical bonds restraining the nearest Titan. The Kyries turned as one to look at her, their hollow eyes fixing on the nymph who had discovered their secret. They know you see them now, Thea warned. You must decide quickly, daughter of waters. The balance of all worlds hangs upon what you do next. A tremor stronger than the others shook the chamber, and Lyra lost her footing, tumbling toward one of the magma pools. As she fell, a massive hand formed of earth and stone reached out, Catching her, the physical manifestation of Thea's power stretched to its limit. "Find the son of Zeus," Thea whispered urgently. "Find Heron. Only the blood of both Titan and God can mend what has been broken." The chamber collapsed around her as Thea used the last of her strength to create an escape path. Lyra fled upward through the mountain, pursued by shrieking Kyries. When she finally emerged into the night air, stars wheeled overhead, and Mount Olympus itself seemed to tremble. No longer could she remain neutral in the affairs of gods and titans. With the knowledge that ancient death spirits were manipulating cosmic powers and the fate of multiple realms in the balance, Lyra began her desperate search for Heron, the demigod who might never know that the survival of all gods, titans, and mortals Alicano depended on him once more. To be continued.